You're listening to the audio portion of Workshop Wednesdays. Workshop Wednesdays is a free live discussion about topics affecting accountants, bookkeepers, and business owners. You can join the ABO group in Facebook to participate live Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Just search for ABBO in Facebook. This podcast is brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com, where you will learn, grow, and build a thriving bookkeeping practice. We have hundreds of lessons with almost every aspect of the industry. Start your free month today at Schoolofbookkeeping.com.
Ho, 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 Carrie.
I have no idea where my Christmas hat,
You have hat envy?
Yes. I don't know where any of that stuff is, so you get this. It's a whole lot better than what you would have seen on Friday or Thursday.
Well, welcome to another Workshop Wednesday. Today, Carrie and I are going to be talking about the QuickBooks Connect conference, which we attended. Well, she was there. Don't know if you could say attended, but we'll talk about that, and then we'll also talk about the PCI compliance email confusion that occurred and what its current state is. So, Workshop Wednesday is brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com, and we have are you wearing your brand new shirt, or is that?
I'm wearing an OG, so mine's a little faded.
You can tell mine is a little bit brighter.
Mine's worn out from overuse.
Right, the coveted and exclusive School of Bookkeeping shirts, and we're trying to figure out a way that we can distribute these shirts. They are very comfortable. Yes,
they're very comfortable.
Yes, I did give out a couple at the QB Connect, and that was a comment, right? That if you give out crappy T-shirts, that just kind of ruins your brand.
It does. I actually have conference attendee friends, I won't name them, who told me that if they get handed a crappy T-shirt, and this was years ago, like 2018 or something, they would actually go back to the booth and say, I don't want it. Because T-sheets now, QuickBooks time, they lifted the standard of
set the bar.
They set the bar high. So we won't even order shirts unless they feel like that T-sheets brand.
And that was a comment that when I gave it out, ooh, this is soft like T-sheets.
Exactly. That's no mistake. That's just not a coincidence. That's on purpose. Right. We did a lot of research to get that far.
So last week in Las Vegas, there was it was a pretty to throw an accounting conference for 3 days in the middle of December in Las Vegas was a pretty tall order, but yeah. it was well attended, and Carrie unfortunately had a health issue. So you want to talk to you about your experience of what you experienced in the conference.
So I actually attended day one, and the first day I was like, uh-oh, I feel a cold coming on. Surely this isn't happening, because I came a few days early to make sure I was rested and set and everything under control. I was taking those airbornes, being preemptive, ran up to the old CVS to get some more, talk to the pharmacist to make sure I had all the good stuff. I wasn't paying attention to the 20 or so folks hovering and coughing all over me, and leaked out of my brain. How do you keep from getting the flu? You pop a mask on your face. So I didn't do any of that. And I think I sucked in whatever it was, woke up Wednesday, ready for QuickBooks Connect with the flu. I thought it was a cold. It was the flu. It was bad. It was so bad I went home Thursday. So, Dan, I was feverish, spreading my joy all over the conference floor, apologized to everybody I ran into. And I don't remember much except they made a big deal over the 25th anniversary because I got an invitation. I somehow navigated an email and floated up to the front of the stage, and I'm like, "Does anyone where's my team?" Anyway, I was all by myself up there in this glory of 25th anniversary. That was really cool.
Yeah. So the uh, Ted Callahan came out and addressed the crowd on the first day, and it's been 25 years since the Pro Advisor program had been launched, and they put up on the screen 401 still active Pro Advisor members, and there were 41.
Yep.
Was it 41
45,
that
45
45
attendant
that were
members.
actually in attendance? And so they made a little special announcement and put all of those folks, kind of front and center, and everybody got to congratulate them on 25 years of Pro Advisor membership.
And I went back in my room, and they had left a nice little gift. It's a book, The Tipping Point, Malcolm Gladwell, and a
Mhm.
little keychain and a note inviting me to a reception the next night, which I couldn't go to. And my good friend Susan Humphreys, who now has a cold but not the flu, went all around and found Kim Amsberg, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, and got the screenshot of my name with the 25
Yeah,
years. I was all excited about that.
yeah, and then
In her own mind.
what's that?
So what we were saying is Carrie is a legend. I said, "Yeah, in her
Yeah.
own mind." But anyway, it was quite humbling because I stood up and I looked around these 45 people. I don't think all of
Mhm.
them followed the rules, but whatever. These are a lot of people are in the TWN. They're teachers, they're advocates. I was like 2 seats down from our good friend Heather Satterley, and everyone wanted to sit. Why I was 2 seats down is because everyone wanted to sit with Heather. It was really a good thing for Heather because I was sick, and I got my good friend Jeff sick on my right. So it was quite a humbling. I felt like I was like in a just it really felt like I was in a dreamland, and I didn't realize it was because I had fever and the flu,
And
not any old flu, the flu A. So,
and to
uh,
put that into perspective, today there are 600,000 pro advisors. So, uh, to be part of um, that
original
exclusive, the original group, of
pioneers.
four
Did
hundred
you
and one, and
before
be the
cars
ones
were
that
invented. Oh, yeah, Michelle Long was up there with me too, speaking of which. So there were a lot of, like MB, a lot of the people that we went to Abbey Camp with,
Mhm.
up there that are teachers because they've just, spreading the advocacy of QuickBooks. So it was really nice to be honored, especially on that 25th anniversary. And like
Mhm.
you say, 600,000 because it's now global.
Yeah,
The
and
I think
free.
and free. Yeah, you can't beat the price because it it used to be paid you had to pay, a couple
Right.
$100 for it, then it raised
Yeah,
up. So
we
free
used
gets a lot of people. It even gets customers, oops, people going down the wrong place to get their QuickBooks, so
yeah
600,000. Yep.
we used to say around the water cooler originally, that if you were a pro advisor, that meant you had a credit card. And then if you were a certified pro advisor, that means you had a credit card and somebody who could take the test for you. But but now it's a little bit more stringent on that. You can't just do that. So um, now you don't even need a credit card.
No, yeah, I'm sure people still don't take their own test, but that's a whole other problem for someone else.
Exactly.
Oh, and
So
speaking of tests, Dan, we do have that really good course to help you
yeah,
so you don't have to fall in the
if
line of computers. You can
if you
actually
if you need help, we do have a course at schoolofbookkeeping.com of strategies, not a cheating guide, but strategies to be able to pass the certification, set up your computer, and be able to find the answers because it is an open book test. I mean, it's not like you have to have a proctored
to
exam,
memorize.
where you fill in all the dots. and try to do your best test taking skills, but you can find the answers in material if you have it set up properly, and that's what the course is all about. Landon saying he's the only one that cheats.
And with the CP, when I took the CPA exam, I actually kept struggling with it, and I finally took a class that told me how to take the test. It was the craziest thing. They said, "You know the material." I'm like, "I don't have it memorized. I'm not that smart." And they said, "No, you've looked at it enough. You know the material." And then they gave me a whole strategy around that particular exam. And so it really does make a difference. You don't have to be a walking encyclopedia of this burnt knowledge, especially if you have an open exam, which you don't at the CPA. You have to know that stuff. So
the following days that Carrie couldn't attend, but was present.
yeah, I'm like,
watching
what
everything on social
did
media.
I miss? What did I miss? What did I sleep
Yeah.
through? I had fever, sweated it
So
out.
we created a blog article, for some of the announcements that they made as far as the innovation. But for me, it was the speakers that they had. Simon Sinek was there, Serena Williams, and Malcolm Gladwell. Just really had some great talks. And one of the things that Malcolm said that was kind of resonated with me was the fact that innovation takes time, right? Like it takes time, and and a lot of businesses and companies say that they're innovative, but it's not until that innovation becomes the norm that it's innovated, right? I mean, you can have a lot of dumb new ideas, right? was really what the point he was trying to make. And just because it's new doesn't mean it's innovative. It's innovative once it becomes part of your everyday life, right? So I mean, you look back on the innovation that Intuit has announced over the course of the years. There's some things that they've announced that have been, that fell flat, right? But I mean, if you look at some of those larger things, like just introducing Quicken into into that was innovative, right? Being
Yeah.
able to track your personal finances, and that is what kind of spawned the whole, where we are today.
It's funny that you
When was
mentioned that
when was the
because,
last time you balanced a checkbook, right? I mean, the old
well,
way of doing things is no
ooh,
longer the current way, right?
when I started off, and I was still taking my CPA exam and so forth, I worked for a certified financial planner, which was a different, angle from the traditional accounting firm. I had all my requirements met. And so I wanted to kind of see the personal world. And she was all excited about Quicken. And I'm like, what the heck is Quicken? So I learned Quicken. And what we did was we would set up these customers that she landed that were personal, the personal books, their stocks and all kind of stuff. And we actually used Quicken to set it up. And then we went and started working with an attorney, a closing attorney. And we were trying to set up Quicken. He had like DAC Easy or something terrible. So we tried to set him up with Quicken. And guess what? QuickBooks Desktop 1.0 was born. And I said, yay! And I got him off of that old lousy software. And all because I could see how good Quicken was, and we were already kind of familiar with that brand. It was really I got to be there as a pioneer back before credit cards were invented. I'm just
Right.
kidding.
And you didn't get dysentery.
I
So
didn't get dysentery, and oh my, I mean, I'm sure they still use it to this. The guy's probably retired by now, but the person that bought the firm probably uses it to this day because it's just so easy to use. But anyway,
right.
I digress.
One of the things that was very telling, right, is kind of taking that Malcolm quote of innovation takes time, right? So when they had a couple people come out and talk about the new things that are coming, it was eerily quiet, right? Like, I don't know if one, I don't know if the crowd was either
They had the flu,
skeptical,
maybe?
right? Maybe you got them all sick, but
Travels fast.
but but I think you know for the accounting community that was there. Um, they kind of took a lot of that fanfare of look at all this new stuff to like,
Yeah,
I'll believe
accounts
it when
don't
I
like
see it,
change.
right?
They don't well, and to be fair, we've heard this every QuickBooks Connect, there's something. Revel is a good example. We went down the Revel train for 2 years, and then they're like, "Oh, yeah, we don't like that anymore." So, yeah. So we're very skeptical. It's painful. It's painful to
Yeah,
change your customers.
and and we've heard a lot of these. I remember last QuickBooks Connect, or maybe it was the one before that, when they announced Books Review, right? And it was like, oh, bank fetch, the statement fetch the banks will just show up, and there'll be all these things that you can, communicate with your client. And it took like 2 years from the announcement, to get to,
Actually, to
somewhat
fruition.
somewhere close to, what they announced. So I think that was part of the skepticism and the quiet, but the silence was deafening to me, right?
Yeah,
When there
like,
was
I let these all sound great, but we still yeah,
mhm,
we have this list of wishes, and that's why
right,
we go to QuickBooks. That's why I go there, Dan, to
yeah,
meet
I mean,
and get those behind the scenes meetings to say, "Here's what we
right,
need."
and on the blog article, it talks about QuickBooks Commerce Accounting, which is currently available. But if you actually were to set it up, you would be like, what? this this is not what they announced. So I was at that event that you couldn't go to, that evening, and I was standing by the heater because it was outside, and
I think the other
trying
reason
to.
I got sick, that outside award ceremony, but yeah.
Yeah, and then I was standing there, and somebody was standing next to me, and struck up a conversation. Turns out that person was part of the Trade Gecko acquisition. you know,
Oh.
so um, so they were part of the Trade Gecko, which is now QB Commerce. And I was voicing my displeasure over what the commerce tab in QuickBooks Online is. And she's like, give me 20 minutes, come over to the come over to the booth, and I'll show you where it is now and where it's going. And after that, I have to say, after that 20 minutes of talking with them, I am optimistic of what is coming. Some of the things that you've been asking for, Carrie, uh, sales orders will be coming to QuickBooks,
But
and
through Trade Gecko, not natively?
no, there will be a sales order function, whether or not you use uh,
Oh.
QuickBooks Commerce or not. There will be a lot of changes to items, right? Because in order to support the inventory functionality that QB Commerce will be bringing into, they have to make some fundamental changes into QuickBooks. So things like variants, right? Like if you have a style grid, like if you're selling
Blue,
clothing, like
green,
these
yeah.
like these awesome shirts, right? And
In different
and
colors,
you have
perhaps,
and you have different colors and different sizes.
different
You'll be able
sizes,
to support
styles.
that.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah, style grid.
I can't say when that's happening, and they can't either, right? Right. So,
Coming soon
yeah, but that is on
in
the
the
on the
horizon.
roadmap. Yes, on the horizon and the roadmap. And the way that they are positioning it is that it's part of your QuickBooks Online subscription. So,
With or without
so
Trade
you don't
Gecko?
without Trade Gecko, right? So,
Okay.
so the QB Commerce, but right now, if you go and look at, the Commerce tab and set up your Shopify, it's
Yeah.
very underwhelming, right?
Okay.
It's, and there's only 3 sales channels that you can use. So if you're using WooCommerce, well, you're out of luck with that. But
Oh,
eventually, right? And I think for 2023, that will be a pretty big innovation as it comes into QuickBooks
And
online.
like the
But
accountants
you know,
say,
to the
we're
to
we
the
waiting on
to the
that. We'll see.
yeah, I'll believe it when
Believe
I
it when
see
we
it,
see
right?
it. Oh, I
Exactly.
still have a little
So
flu cough here. Sorry.
so take a look at the blog article there, and now we want to switch gears a little bit because we've been talking 20 minutes about QB Connect, and we wanted to talk a little bit about this PCI compliance
Yeah, we got a lot of
email
noise around that.
that came out. So I'm going to share my screen. I'll show the culprit here, which is over here. So this was an email that came out for me. It showed up in November, the end of November, right before Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
We'll throw this out there. Now we have a blog article of how to sniff out emails from Intuit, whether they're scams or not. So first let's determine if this was a legitimate email or not. Well, first it comes from Intuit QuickBooks Desktop Payroll, which
Dan, but desktop payroll has nothing to do with payments. So it's a
right,
scam,
but
right?
no, it's not necessarily a scam.
See?
This is just how the contact name comes over, right? So this could be in a confusion, and as
Oh,
we have talked about as ad nauseum, in emails from Intuit are riddled with their own mistakes, right? So if we look at here, the email address is intuit@eq.intuit.com. So the fact that there is an intuit.com domain address,
yeah, that
that
I changed my vote.
right, yeah, that counts. That checks the box that okay, this potentially could be from a legitimate source, right? And then if I go, look at the reply to, then I have, the donut reply, or it says, do not reply at
Donut.
intuit.com.
Oh,
Sorry,
now all of a sudden I need a donut.
I haven't had my breakfast yet. Right,
Oh,
but do
your
not
time's
reply
done
at
confused.
intuit.com. Right.
Click
And
the
then
links.
when you
No, don't click the links.
right, and that's
Never
what they
click the
want you to do,
links.
of course.
Go to someone
Right.
else's computer and click the links.
But just like in true Intuit confusion email fashion, right? So now I'm confused because one, I don't
Why is
have a
payroll sending
payroll.
this to me?
I don't have a desktop payroll active, subscription that I use for my clients. So why am I even getting this? And that sort of thing. And it's so brief. The brevity in the email is so confusing, right? Now, they so and why is this talking about security metrics and PCI compliance? So to their credit, the link that was in the email has now been corrected, right? So but before, what would happen,
Oh,
went over here, what happened was this article would come up, and it was huge, as far as here's all the problems with PCI compliance. Now, what is PCI compliance, right? So PCI stands for Payment Card Industry
is it in layman
Standard.
terms how you handle someone's card so that you're not taking someone's credit card and laying it out for like you're cleaning people to come in and borrow it, that kind of thing?
Exactly. Right. Like uh, there's payment card industry standards, right? So it's basically a group of it's an industry group that creates standards that involve around the using and collecting and using of credit card information, because as you're probably well aware, that's riddled with fraud, right? So, in order to do that, you should be PCI compliant with regards to what happens when you accept a credit card, or when you know collecting and storing credit cards. Now, this link that it takes you to now is nice and concise, right? So the idea here is that, the frequently asked question, am I required to become PCI compliant? And it does state right here, while Intuit products are PCI compliant. So when you're using, QuickBooks Point of Sale or QuickBooks Online or desktop to charge credit
Or
cards,
Go payment.
those programs themselves are PCI compliant. Meaning
Okay.
that, and you probably notice that when you put in a credit card or someone's banking information, as soon as you step off the field, it's X'd
It's
out.
not missing. Yeah.
The terminology is it's obfuscated, right? So you can't see that credit card information even if you wanted to, right? So as soon as you put in that information, um, it's gone from view. So if somebody were to, you know, hack into your QuickBooks, they would not be able to take that credit card information. So the programs themselves are PCI compliant. And the thing about you know that, but just because you're using a PCI compliant piece of software to charge your credit cards, it doesn't mean that your business is PCI compliant, because we have lots of post-it notes, right, that could potentially be where people write down credit cards and then leave them sitting on their desk, right? Or putting it in a Word document or something like that.
An
That's
email,
not a right, an email. That
a
is
text.
that is not a PCI compliant activity,
Okay.
right? And that is what this email is all about, right? So this is a way to kind of protect your business practices, with offering a service which is being handled by security metrics, right? So they basically do an audit, and provide protection services for your business. So they'll make sure that uh, you're not doing some of these practices that are not PCI compliant. And as long as you are protecting yourself with their service, they offer some kind of guarantee when it comes to potential fines, right? So that's what this email is all about, is being able to protect your business, for being PCI compliant if you're charging credit cards. Now, why it came from desktop payroll and, and those types of things just only added to the confusion, and to into
Well,
its credit. They have consolidated the links that they sent you to so that they're not as confusing as they were in the past. What were you going to say?
so okay, so basically this is a third-party company trying to sell
Hmm.
like an
Yes.
insurance-ish type business around this, but I mean, you could still screw it up, even if you sign up and pay for them to
Yeah.
come in and say, "Did you know your admin assistant is writing down credit cards and leaving them on the desk, and they have people coming and going, seeing it." So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they have threat prevention tools, right? Like so scans and things like that. And then credit card data breach protection, and then they offer this coverage of up to $50,000, if there is a fine levied, because that's the potential for not doing these things, is you could potentially have a fine for that, but it's all optional and it's not required, even though
Wait,
uh,
Intuit
you know
offers breach forgiveness in addition and has coverage, but something you have to pay for? Offers.
right.
Sign up. Okay.
um, yeah.
More
But
confusion.
ultimately,
What do I get for
right.
free, Dan? Nothing's ever
um,
free.
yeah, that's not
Oh,
not
sign
not too
up,
much
sign
is.
up.
Yeah. But they give other links here about the PCI security, the council. I don't know why there's two links here, but they go the same place. Um, and then what does it mean to be PCI compliant and those sorts of things. So hopefully that helped clarify the confusion around it, because when the email first came out, it was much more confusing than it is today. But that is what it's all about here in the with regards to that PCI. So the programs that all of Intuit's software is PCI compliant, but that doesn't feed into your business practices themselves.
Right.
And having the correct security measures in place with regards to what you do before you enter in that credit card or banking information into the PCI compliant software, which is QuickBooks when charging.
Right.
So yeah, so next week, we are planning I think our last workshop of the year, and I think we'll just talk about some year end activities, right? Things that
Right. We have a
you're
year-end
needing
checklist
to do.
too, Dan.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll talk about we'll kind of go through our year end checklist that we have available on School of Bookkeeping,
Bookkeeping.
and we'll go from there. So we appreciate you joining us this week, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. And you all have a great day.
Have a great day and dodge the flu because you don't want it.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great week.